Hey guys, hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Sovereign Hippie Patreon. Hey, I had found something months and months back that I thought I saved, and I'm actually searching my internet to see if it's in one of my tabs, and this is one of the tabs that I collected. Um, so we've already spoken about mucoid plaque in one of the ivermectin episodes, um, and then I believe also in a subsequent episode, it's hard to keep up, you guys. Really hard for me to keep up. I'm going to try, and I'm putting more tags on my posts, by the way, so that you guys can search in the search bar. But I had found something that covered it from another angle and just further continues to prove what's already been proven here. So it's just like really sealing the deal, like really just like doubling down, tripling down. Okay, so this is one of the tabs that I had saved. And so let's take a look at it. I'm going to cut this really short. I've been having to go the long way around in uploading to Patreon, and I don't want to do that. It's 2:22 in the morning. And in order to go the long way around, I've got to upload to Dropbox, and then I've got to get up from my bed, go to my mom's phone, download it to my mom's phone, and then upload it to Patreon from her phone. It's crazy. It's the only way I've been able to post here. So I'm going to make this really, really short, try and cut it off really short, and then just quickly upload a next one and a next one and a next one. So we're going to connect this to some things that are already here. So, and just connect it all. Newly discovered ropeworm infections. First case report. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to point out what I see. First case report in Gulf Cooperation Council countries. Okay. Ropeworms are anaerobic worms that were discovered in 2009. This is what is so funny to me in like a tragic deception of the masses type of way. They were discovered in 2009 during the cleansing of the colon by coffee or cleansing enemas. The same thing that's spoken of in that ivermectin episode. I don't know if it's 6 or 7 or 8. It's one of those. Pretty positive it's one of those. And in one of those episodes, it's talking about the damage that's done by enemas, you guys. It does so much damage. That's one of the things that does damage, as well as poison that is causing intestinal linings to fall off, and they're calling it ropeworms. So this absolutely connects to this. I find it a bit suspicious, right? It absolutely connects that they were apparently discovered in 2009 during the cleansing of the colon, which reminds me of this show called Apple Cider Vinegar. And they did a lot of enemas on that show. And God didn't create us to actually keep putting things up the butt. Honest to God, it sounds like might sound like I'm joking or trying to sound gross, but that's not how he created us, to put things up there. It's created for things to come out of there. Anyways, it says they are rope-like, meter-long intestinal parasites and look like twisted fibers of rope attached to the intestinal wall. Twisted fibers of rope. Thousands of people have passed the ropeworms, and they're still all over the world. This study aimed to find the cause of intestinal blockage by the worm passing in stool, identify them, and treat the patient. Morphology. The ropeworms look like a rope and slimy in nature, over a meter long. Now, the intestinal lining is supposed to be coated in mucus, you guys, and it's very long. They were identified in 5 different developmental stages based on their morphology. Clinical symptoms. The ropeworm produces a slimy, sticky substance with a distinct odor, twists like a corkscrew, and may obstruct the intestine. It may also cause abdominal pain, bloating, gases, indigestion, and constipation. Conclusion. Now check this out. It says, conclusion. The patients were treated several times in the area clinic with anthelmintic drugs. So they are treated with drugs. Drugs are always synthetic. Synthetics always make worms worse, and they make the body worse. Synthetics are poison. So poison can cause the intestinal lining to detach. Part of the problem is never going to be part of the solution. It says with no improvement of symptoms, which is why I just said what I said. You cannot improve this with drugs. The patients were unable to pass the stool without water. So first it says thousands of people have passed ropeworms in their stool. And then it's talking about a study aimed to find the cause of intestinal blockage by the worm passing in the stool. But my thing is, maybe it's because people are putting things up the butt that it's like causing a reverse effect, and it's now blocking. It's blocking things. Let's just look at what AI says. It says, enemas can cause stool blockages or fecal impactions in several ways. Enemas can be prescribed to treat constipation. But if the underlying cause is medication-induced, the enemy may not be effective. It says, anorectal malformations can make it difficult for the stool to pass, leading to impaction. These conditions can affect the normal contraction process of the colon, preventing the feces from being removed. Symptoms of fecal impaction include lower abdominal pain, inability to pass bowel movements, rectal fullness or discomfort. I could only guess that sticking things up the butt with a bunch of enemas is going to affect the normal contraction process, because your butt was not designed for things to go up there. It was designed to contract so that things can come out of there. So now you're putting things up there, and the body wasn't designed that way. I would believe that it would affect the contraction process. What's interesting is that I believe the woman in the movie that was based on a true story, if I remember correctly, it was a show called actually Apple Cider Vinegar. I believe the mother that the daughter was influencing to continuously get enemas, I believe she ended up passing away from rectal cancer. Imagine shooting stuff up the butt. Imagine shooting feces right back up there. Just imagine, and then imagine it getting blocked. That's just what I see. Right here it says, enemas do not teach the bowel how to work better. I'm trying not to get into a tangent here, but if we have major constipation, we need to take a look at what we've been taking that's causing that to happen. And then it is so incredibly easy for me to remove constipation. There's absolutely no reason to shoot things up the anus for constipation. Absolutely not. I can help you if you are having constipation issues. 100%. Quickly. Very quickly. Anyway, these are my guesses right now, because sometimes with a quick solution also comes long con, right? Anyhow, it says the anthelmintic drugs did not help. So I'm skipping this first sentence right here, and then it says, recently another potential intestinal inhabitant was discovered and given the name ropeworm. What's interesting, though, is that it was just so recent, you know what I mean? It says their color is often a dark brown, similar to that of feces. When expelled to the body, from the body and exposed to air, they produce a distinct and off-putting odor. So, like, right away, what does that tell me? It's probably waste, you know? So, according to some scientists, they are parasitic worms, but others believe they're nothing more than a buildup of intestinal mucus and other debris. They are rope-like, meter-long intestinal parasites and look like twisted fibers of rope attached to the intestines with suction cups or heads that develop from suction bubbles, twist like a corkscrew, and may obstruct the intestine. Explain 5 distinct stages. First stage, worm consists of slimy mucus, and then it says by the 5th and final stage, it resembles a viscous mucus rope measuring approximately 1 meter in length, uses bubbles for propulsion and movement by creating suction that helps the quote-unquote worm attach to the intestinal wall and preventing it from passing out of the body during defecation. So guys, pause to read this real quick, so I'm going to move on to something since I read ahead for you guys real quick. See, what's interesting here is it says that the worm may cause these symptoms, and these symptoms, such as hair loss, for example, headaches, coughing, colds, allergies. Well, these are immune system issues, right? So this all comes down to something that this person's been taking that has caused these immune issues, because hair loss, you're not getting enough oxygen to the scalp. Hair loss, nanotechnology, point blank period, because graphene oxide eats oxygen. And so that's why there was such a big COVID hair loss issue, because of the graphene oxide. It caused a great population to just lose a lot of their oxygen, and also going to the scalp. The vaccine, concentrates in the head, the reproductive system, the heart area. A lot of people reported that after testing through the nose, they started losing hair. That's because they were taking in graphene oxide through the nose. When you get a lot of headaches, there's a system issue. Allergies, overactive immune system, colds. Every sickness starts with colds. That's an immune system issue. Constipation is also a system issue. This is not necessarily from a worm. This could very well be why the person was backed up in the first place, and then they just made it worse by shooting something up the butt. So anyways, as we scroll along, pause to read this. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. There are 2 examples of people that got the enemas. And in both cases, they said that neither one of the worms exhibited any characters that even look like a worm. And that both of these instances, they both look like the same ropeworm. The same. All of these look the same. And these do not look like rope. These do not look like worms to me. Once again, it says that multiple courses of albendazole did not improve the symptoms. Why? Because you cannot treat a problem that starts with poison with more poison. So I'm going to end this one and hoping that it can upload easy. And then we're going to continue this. Grace and peace.